Sports, with their combination of skill, speed, and strength, often display the human body in its most impressive form. However, behind the glory of athletic achievements and moments of triumph lies a dark side that is often overlooked. Yes, we are talking about severe and feared injuries. For athletes who are always pushing themselves, facing intense physical contact and fierce competition, injuries can be devastating, irreversibly altering lives and careers. Edgar Andrade, a former Cruz Azul player, suffered a historic injury in 2007 that marked his career and impressed the world with its severity. During a match against Tecos in the Mexican Championship, Andrade tried to tackle an opponent to regain possession of the ball for his team when his foot got stuck on the field. The weight of his own body caused him to suffer an open ankle fracture. In the moment of the incident, it was clear that the player was not well, as he writhed in pain and seemed to be in shock. When the camera zooms in, we can see his foot turned around, leaving no doubt about the seriousness of the injury. The slow-motion replay shows everything, and the images are quite strong. He went through a long rehabilitation process, including several surgeries and many months away from the field. Fortunately, he managed to return to professional soccer, surprising many people, including doctors and himself, by coming back at a high level and becoming a key piece of the team. This incident became one of the most severe in the history of Mexican sports, both for the seriousness of the injury and for the shocking scene that went viral worldwide. Jean-Pierre Fuchs, a Swiss bodybuilder, suffered one of the most severe injuries in bodybuilding history in 2002 during a photo shoot for Flex magazine. While performing a squat exercise with an extremely heavy load, Fuchs lost control of the weight, resulting in a devastating injury to his knees. Both knees gave out simultaneously, causing multiple tendon and ligament ruptures as well as bone damage. Although Fuchs was a highly experienced athlete, accustomed to training with extreme weights, something went terribly wrong that day. The scene was described as one of the most distressing ever seen in bodybuilding. Fuchs was immediately taken to the hospital, where he underwent multiple surgeries to rebuild the tendons and stabilize the knee. The recovery was extremely long and painful, requiring many months of intensive therapy and rehabilitation. Although he managed to recover physically, his competitive career was never the same. He tried to return to training but never managed to compete at the same level as before the accident. His injury is often remembered as one of the worst accidents in bodybuilding, serving as a warning about the risks involved in using extreme loads without proper preparation. Ewald Lienen's injury, which occurred in 1981 during a Bundesliga match, is one of the most shocking in soccer history. Lienen, a player for Arminia Bielefeld, suffered a horrific wound during a game against Werder Bremen. A Bremen defender, Norbert Siegmann, delivered an extremely rough challenge with his cleats on Lienen's right thigh, resulting in a cut almost 25 centimeters long. What was most remarkable was that, despite the severity of the injury, Lienen immediately stood up and ran toward the Bremen bench to confront coach Otto Rehhagel, accusing him of encouraging such a violent tackle. Cameras captured the image of Lienen's thigh laid open, exposing muscles and tissues, a sight that shocked both spectators and players. Lienen's reaction, seemingly indifferent to the pain as he ran to complain, made the incident even more notorious. Even the medical team that rushed onto the field was shocked by the severity of the wound. In the footage, we can see members of the coaching and medical staff placing their hands on their heads with expressions of deep concern. Yet there stood Ewald, on his feet, outraged at the entire opposing team. Surprisingly, despite the severity of the injury, Lienen returned to the field only 17 days later. He underwent intensive medical treatment, and the incident became such an impactful milestone that it is still remembered today in the Bundesliga and in world soccer. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, a former UFC strawweight champion, was part of one of the most striking moments in MMA history during her fight against the Chinese athlete Zhang Weili at UFC 248 on March 7, 2020. The fight, one of the most intense and technical ever seen in the women's division, was widely remembered for the grotesque swelling that formed on Joanna's forehead. Over 5 rounds of heavy striking, Zhang Weili landed multiple blows to the Polish athlete's head, especially punches that hit directly on her forehead. As a result, Joanna developed a huge and disfiguring hematoma that swelled impressively. The appearance of her forehead shocked fans and commentators, and the images quickly went viral on social media, astonishing the world. Despite the extreme swelling, the Polish athlete continued fighting until the end, showing enormous resilience. The match was extremely balanced, and Zhang Weili won by a split judge's decision. However, both fighters were widely praised for their performances. The swelling on Joanna's forehead was a large subcutaneous hematoma, caused by fluid accumulation between the skull bone and the skin. Fortunately, the swelling was treated after the fight, and she suffered no permanent damage. During the Salmore bike competition held in the Canary Islands, a serious accident occurred involving a woman who was struck by a cyclist at high speed. The event, a mountain bike race, features highly trained competitors who reach great speeds on challenging terrain. Near the finish line, a cyclist was approaching at high speed, using all his energy to improve his placement when a woman attempted to cross the track at the wrong moment, placing herself directly in front of the cyclist, who could not avoid the collision. The impact was intense, resulting in severe injuries to both the pedestrian and the cyclist. The accident was recorded in videos and photos that quickly spread on social media, sparking debates about safety measures around cycling races, especially at events where spectators have access to the competition areas. After the incident, local authorities and the organizers of Salmore Bike reinforced the need for greater control over spectator access to the track areas, as well as the implementation of proper signage to prevent pedestrians from crossing the competitor's path. There are no detailed reports on the extent of the injury, but both individuals received medical attention at the scene, with the woman being hospitalized in serious condition. Reggie Brown, a former Detroit Lions player, suffered a serious spinal cord injury on December 21, 1997, during an NFL match against the New York Jets. The incident took place when Brown made a tackle, similar to the move mentioned earlier with Ryan Shazier, aiming to stop the opponent's progress. Right after the impact, Brown collapsed on the field, unable to move. The moment was tense and shocking as he remained motionless, prompting immediate intervention from the medical teams. The injury was diagnosed as a spinal cord contusion, and the situation was extremely critical, to the point that doctors had to perform resuscitation maneuvers on the field to save his life. There was immediate fear that he might suffer permanent paralysis or even not survive, given the severity of the injury. He was quickly taken to the hospital, where the medical team stabilized his condition. Despite the initial danger, Brown made a significant recovery and avoided complete paralysis, but his NFL career ended at that very moment. The incident was one of the most severe spinal injuries in American football. Amanda Campos, a volleyball player, suffered a shocking knee injury that startled both her teammates and spectators. The incident happened during a match when Amanda landed improperly after a jump. At the moment her feet touched the ground, her knee twisted abnormally, resulting in a severe sprain. The scene was impactful, as Amanda immediately fell to the floor in great pain, holding her knee and screaming. Spectators, players, and even the opposing team realized the seriousness of the injury as soon as it occurred, and the medical staff was quickly called to assist. Campos was treated immediately and had to be carried off on a stretcher. She underwent surgery to repair the damaged knee ligaments and faced a long recovery, lasting about 1 year until she was fit to play again. As soon as she was able to return to the court, Amanda, who had been playing in Turkey, secured a transfer to a Polish club where she remains to this day. Samantha Serio, a college gymnast from the United States, suffered a devastating injury on April 1, 2019, during a gymnastics competition in the country. The injury occurred as she executed a tumbling pass in her floor routine. Attempting a complex, acrobatic move, Serio landed awkwardly, resulting in multiple fractures in both legs, a scene of extreme severity. As mentioned, the moment was extremely shocking and distressing, with cameras capturing the fall and the immediate reaction of the medical team and other competitors. Serio suffered severe fractures in both knees, including the kneecaps, as well as ligament damage. The severity of the injury required emergency surgery to stabilize the bones and repair the damage.
Let's see how high she flies right here. I think
The injury had a significant impact on Serio's career, prompting her to retire from competitive gymnastics due to the extent of the damages and the long recovery process. In a statement on her social media, the gymnast announced that after 18 years, she was retiring prematurely from the sport. She expressed pride in the person that gymnastics had helped her become, and despite things ending unexpectedly, she stated that it was all right because nothing ever goes exactly as planned. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.